I will be discussing modular arithmetic and divisibility tricks. So first I will discuss how to solve a congruence, and I will be using mod 9. However, the same steps can be used to solve a congruence in any mod. So first we will start by setting up a congruence. You can pick whatever numbers you choose, but these are the numbers I chose to use. So I set up 4x minus 6 is congruent to 5. The next step is you will start by solving like a typical equation and adding 6 to both sides, as you can see here. So we got 4x is congruent to 11 by adding 6 to both sides. Step 3 is to add or subtract the mod, in this case it's 9, from the right hand side as many times as you want, and as many times as you need until the right hand side becomes a multiple of the x coefficient. So the x coefficient would be 4 in this case. We're trying to get the 11 to be a multiple of 4. So in this case, we only had to add it one time. As you can see here, the 9, to get 20, which is divisible by our coefficient for x, which is 4. And then we will follow this by solving for x, as you can see here, by dividing by 4 from each side. And the answer for this congruence is x is congruent to 5. Now this congruence and these steps will not work for each number you try, so I'll give you another way to solve a congruence with a different setup to see if we can help you figure out more congruences. So once again, I'll be using mod 9. So our first step again is to set up the equation. And I set up the equation 5x minus 6 is congruent to, 5x minus 3 is congruent to 6. And then once again, we will start by solving this like a normal equation, which would be adding 3 to both sides, as you can see on the screen. And then next we will find an inverse of 5 in mod 9. That will leave us with 1x, which we can multiply this inverse on both sides of the equation. Now, when I say inverse, I mean a number that will get us to 1x on one side. So it is a number that is congruent to 1x in whatever mod you choose to use. So in this case, if we multiply 5x on the left side of the congruence by 2, we will end up with 10x, which, as you know, is congruent to x. On the right side, however, we also must multiply the equation by 2. So that leaves us with 10x is congruent to 18. And as you are aware, the next step will be to reduce the congruence by subtracting the modulus from either side, which is shown in this step right here when I subtracted 9 from the left and I will subtract 2 times 9 from the right on this step here. And this leaves us with x is congruent to 0. Now I will be discussing divisibility tricks. So this could take place in any base that you want. So to tell if a divisibility trick could be created in a given base, we must determine if the base is divisible by the number which you are trying to determine a trick for. If the base is divisible by the number you are trying to create a trick for, then only the ones place must be taken into account. So this is how to tell if any. I will be giving you the instructions for divisibility trick by 4 in base 12. So this is how you tell if any number is divisible by 4 in base 12. So we only must determine whether or not the ones place is divisible by 4 in base 12 because the 12's place, as you can tell by dividing 12 by 4, is divisible by 4. Thus any multiple of this number in the 12's place, or in any place larger, because the next place would be the 120 or the 12's cubed place, so it would be a multiple of 4, just like the 12's place. And so for any place greater than the ones place, we do not need to determine if it is divisible by 4, and you will solve this divisibility trick by just dividing the ones place by 4.